Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Drudels Blitz, and in today's video, we are taking a look at the Kampfpanzer 68P, a Tier 8 German premium medium tank. A vehicle that is honestly incredible looking. It has high alpha, good DPM, fantastic penetration values, and I mean, the tank looks epic. It's kind of like a Rompanzer, but now uses a Leopard 1 turret. It's just a sick vehicle. In today's video, I'll be showcasing the armor profile and statistics of this tank. I've known about its stats for a decent chunk of time now, but the reason I haven't showcased it yet is because I've been waiting for the armor profile, which we can see has finally been released. So with all of the stats and everything in front of us, let's get straight into it. I should mention that this vehicle is running double food and fuel in terms of provisions and equipment. We're running gun rammer, supercharger because Asen's weird and puts it on, and we have V-stabs. So the tank is fully equipped. Let's start off with the vehicle's gun and see what it's got going for it. 1930 DPM. Yeah, that's pretty bad. And I need you to remember that this is running rammer. So running calibrated shells on this vehicle, it's got about 1700-ish DPM. That's pretty bad. In fact, that might be the worst for basically a tier 8 medium. But there's a reason why. This vehicle has 380 damage per shot. That's a lot of damage per shot. Pair that to the fact it also has amazing pen values, 221 on the standard and 260 on the premium APCR. Plus, again, this is with gun rammer. Running Cali, you can get that up to 280 mils of APCR pen. That is absolutely incredible. So while the vehicle may not have a lot of damage per minute, it's got the pen and the alpha to easily cut through opponents, especially the high explosive dealing 500. That's really nice. Now, it does have some downsides, like the aiming time at 3.9 seconds. Now, to be fair, if you weren't running supercharger and you were running enhanced gun laying drive, it would be more like 3.6, 3.7, but still not a fast aiming time. The dispersion is also pretty bad. It's 0.362. It's not the worst thing ever. You know, it's similar to a vehicle of the STG Guard and T-34-2, but it's not good. That's what I'll say. So this is not going to be a tank that you're going to sit at the back of the map and snipe. It is going to be a front line medium. And this is where the tank gets really weird. The equipment has two different options. As we know, the Type 71 features different types of equipment. In fact, we can pull up Blitz here, and we can pull out the Type 71, which is right here. And the vehicle has two different equipment slots. We have improved vertical stabilizers, which increases the gun depression by 3 degrees and the gun elevation by 3 degrees. Or we can run improved suspension, which will give you much better terrain crossing capacity, much better traverse speed, and average speed. In other words, just much faster. These two equipment make the tank incredibly unique and give you two separate playstyles. I've been waiting for a very long time for Wargaming to release a premium with this equipment, and finally they have. This is essentially a 2-for-1 deal because you have two different playstyles. This tank already has 9 degrees of gun depression base. Yes, you heard that right. It has 9 degrees base. Now I want you to imagine what happens when we increase that by 3. Yes, this tank has 12 degrees of gun depression if you are running the improved gun depression module. That is absolutely insane. And it is going to allow this tank to basically be the most gun depression in tier 8. It's already got good turret armor. It's got high alpha. Pair that with 12 degrees. What the absolute heck? Now, if you're running the other equipment, instead of having that gun depression, you're going to be a lot more mobile. Instead of turning at 49 degrees a second, you're going to turn at 61 degrees a second, which is obviously way better. And while the vehicle's power to weight is the same on paper, you'll notice that the average speed is slightly better at 2 kilometers per hour, and that's because we can see the terrain crossing capacity is much, much better. So overall, what would I say? Well, if you like speed, then I guess go with the improved suspension. But let's be real, the vehicle's not very fast. It reaches a top speed of 45. So you'd kind of be a fool to run something that increases your traverse and I guess power to weight when the tank barely reaches that high of a top speed for a medium. It would be much more beneficial to get that 12 degrees of gun depression and still have a decent power to weight, paired with all these other amazing things like the alpha, the penetration. This vehicle looks like it's going to be incredible. But let's take take a look at the armor profile, because not everything's based off of stats. You need to see how a vehicle's armor is going to work. So this is a Progetto, running about 200-ish mils of pen effective. We can see that the mantlet on this vehicle is pretty solid. It's about 250 millimeters thick. Now, I would like to pull out a vehicle that shoots heat shells, but I don't think any of these vehicles do. I know the Skoda T56 does, and as you'll notice, this tank is basically impossible to cut through the gun mantlet with heat. So even if you got high AP pen, good luck. It's 250. The majority of tier 8s don't even have 250. Even a Skoda running, Cali, this thing's not even running enhanced armor. You can get it up to 270. So the mantlet's actually really solid. Pair that with the, 12 degrees? This is what the tank's going to look like with 12 degrees. That is insane. I mean, you won't be able to pen the tank anywhere. Load heat. Good luck. And by the way, I should point out, loading heat means that this plow is now going to become incredibly hard to pen because it's all spaced armor. So yeah, this tank looks redonkulous. The armor hull down is already super good. Pull out your average medium. Let's say it's a Pantera, one of the highest penning mediums. This is what a Pantera sees with just 9 degrees. Even loading premium, it's super hard to cut through. Tanks that will be able to pen this tank are high pen APCR vehicles. But I mean, the Pantera's already got 260. This is with Cali on. The vehicle looks busted. This tank hull down is gonna be ridiculous. Pair that to the fact that it hits you for 380. It's got 12 degrees of gun depression, and it's fairly mobile. What? It's basically gonna be a 122 TM with 12 degrees of gun depression. I don't know what to say. I mean, we can compare this vehicle's armor to a 122 TM. Let's do that, because both of them are kind of similar in terms of alpha, mobility, so we can obviously see that the 122 is a much better hull. Now, this is really good pen being aimed at it, but the hull on the 122 is about 220 mils thick. Compare that to the, 150, 170. Obviously, the 122, especially while using gun depression, is much, much harder to pen, as we can see. But this vehicle has massive hatches on the roof, which are obviously big weak spots. So even though you got the super well-armored turret, it's not really going to matter. This tank has no hatches whatsoever. Loading heat, again, good luck. That's all I'm going to say. Sure, this vehicle won't always be impervious. On flat ground, it'll be super easy to pen due to the fact that it has basically no hull armor. The side armor is atrocious, and the rear is also terrible. So its armor is only good hull down. Everything else is bad, and that's where people are going to play it really poor. But in the hands of a good player, this tank seems like it's going to be incredible. Also, I should mention that you can't HE it anywhere. Because it's got spaced armor on the front, you're not going to do much. The sides are all covered and spaced, as we can see, and the rear is actually decently thick at 65. I mean, it's not super good, but it's going to be very hard for the majority of tanks to actually pen this with high explosive. I mean, this tank's got upwards of 60 mils with Cali. So yeah, you're going to struggle to penetrate this vehicle. Overall, I think it's going to be an amazing tank. I can't wait for it to get released because that 12 degrees just sounds ridiculous. But I don't think it's going to be busted. I think that it will be really strong. The problem is that it doesn't have enough DPM to really scare me. I mean, it's got, what, 1700 DPM, did we say? 1900 with rammer? That's just not enough damage per minute. I mean, compare that to any medium. T95E2, one of the worst performing tier 8 mediums. The thing's got 2500. Heck, an Indian Panther's got 2900 now. Pershing's over 3k. So while it does have these great things going for it, you do got to keep in mind that it's not always going to be incredible. It does feature a lot of weaknesses, which are going to bring it down a lot. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.